Okay, welcome to Big Nick's Meats and Treats. I'm going to go over my process for doing spare ribs. I start off with a quality spare rib. I usually get Chairman's Reserves from Cash and Carry, or I got these from Costco. I'm just going to do one rack today. I like spare ribs over baby back ribs because they got a lot more meat on them and they tend to stay juicier than the baby back ribs, so I try to avoid baby back ribs. So the first thing I need to do is I need to take the silver skin off, which is this membrane that's on the back. So what I'm going to do is just get a little table knife here, get it started a little bit underneath this membrane, pop that off just a little bit. Then I take a paper towel and grab it, and you should be able to pull that off almost in one piece. If you don't take the silver skin off, it just makes the rib harder to eat. So your guests will appreciate you taking the silver skin off. Okay, once you have the silver skin off, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some just regular old mustard, and I put a coat of mustard on there. Just a light coat of mustard on. This just helps break the pork down a little bit. Gives the seasoning something to stick to. I do both sides. Okay. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of my Big Nick's Magic Meat Rub on there. It's a combination of salt, pepper, smoked paprika, chipotle powder, brown sugar, cayenne, cumin, and a couple other little things. So I put a generous coating of that on there. Okay, then I'm going to do both sides. Okay, and then once the smoker gets up to temperature, 225, I'm going to put the ribs on the smoker for 2 hours at 225. Okay, so after the ribs have been on for 2 hours, now I'm going to prepare to wrap them. So the first thing I do is I take brown sugar, and I just put a nice light coat all over the entire top of the ribs, the meat side of the ribs. Some folks do both sides of the ribs. I just do the tops, and it doesn't seem to make that much of a difference. So put a nice light coat of that, and then I'll take butter. If you can find squeeze butter, like Parquet squeeze butter, that's pretty good. Otherwise, I take like 3 tabs of butter about that size, and I spread them out amongst the ribs. Okay, so the next thing I do is I take honey, and I'm pretty generous with the honey. I'll put a nice liberal coat of honey back and forth on the ribs, like so. Okay, and then you got to wrap them, and I use heavy duty foil, and I'll do two layers of foil. I fold the ends in first, and you want this to be wrapped pretty tight. Okay, like so. And then if you notice, the closing went this way this time, and I'll do it the opposite way with the second sheet. Okay, and then I'm going to put them back on the smoker for another hour and a half.
Why you gotta be so handsome?
What I do now, it's been an hour and a half, is I unwrap the ribs. You should have some nice pullback on the bones. So yeah, they're looking good. Okay. And then take whatever your favorite sauce is. I'm using Sweet Baby Ray's today. A lot of times I'll use my own favorite, or my own sauce. And then put a light coat of sauce on the entire rib. I just do the tops. I just do the meat side. I don't do the bone side. I really like Sweet Baby Ray's because it has a good high sugar content that caramelizes. Okay, and then once you've got that done, I'm going to put them back on the smoker again for another 45 minutes. And that will
Without the pan?
really caramelize the sauce that's on there. And 45 more minutes. So the ribs are done now. They've been in there about 4 hours and 15 minutes or so. Next thing I'm going to do is cut them. And when you cut them, I like to keep the meat side up. Some people will flip the meat side down. I don't like to do that because it screws up the bark that you work so hard to get. So I do it meat side up and use a really, really sharp knife so you don't tear the meat. You want to actually cut the meat, not tear it. And look where the bones are. And when you cut into that, you should see some real nice juice coming out of there. Real nice juice. And when you bite through, to be able to bite down right to the bone, oh my goodness, is that good. Oh my goodness. Mark?
Watch me work, baby. Watch me work.